gewaltigen Angriffe auf unsere Infrastruktur.
Ich gehe von dem aus, was Sie jetzt auch gesagt haben, ja.
Dann ist die Ampel endgültig.
Nein, das deutsche Urteil hier, wenn wir sagen, dass Familien
Ihnen mit Schwarz
wartet auf Klimaschutz.
liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen.
Germany's economic outlook has plunged into the spotlight. With growth forecasts near zero and industrial giants announcing mass layoffs, Chancellor Friedrich Merz's government is facing fierce fire in the Bundestag. Economy Minister Katharina Reiche insisted reforms are being pushed forward with urgency.
This government has not yet lost any time, and I can assure you, we will not start with that now. For a strong Germany, it is important. We have to move forward.
The AfD seized on Bosch's plan to cut 13,000 jobs, calling it historic deindustrialization. They said Merz had promised a summer of reforms, but delivered only paralysis, accusing the coalition of abandoning workers and business alike.
Bosch has to remove another 13,000 jobs. It is the most massive job removal in the history of the company. Germany is no longer attractive because the location of politics is fundamentally directed. It is the fundamentally wrong, extremely expensive energy policy. Chancellor Merz, he is here today, that is very commendable, had promised full-blown change, but there is really nothing to see of it. The decline of the German economy continues unhindered. With you, with Schwarz-Rot, nothing changes.
AfD MPs went further, branding the budget an ideological exercise and accusing Reiche of sabotaging the country. They said Germany was being pushed into a planned economy that would hammer its exports and destroy competitiveness.
We are on our way to a planned economy. Only the goods from Germany and the EU become more expensive. The whole thing is a huge hammer against the export-oriented German industry. Here, a legitimate climate socialism, a climate socialist economy emerges.
Ms. Minister Reiche, you say that the energy transition leads to power gaps and is too expensive for companies and households, but you still want to continue the energy transition. Some would call this policy schizophrenic. Others see it as a sabotage of their own country.
The Greens launched their own offensive, accusing the Merz government of staring at problems instead of solving them. They said Reiche made promises on energy relief and investments, but delivered only frustration and uncertainty.
Staring at problems instead of finding solutions is not the task of the government. Instead of making the economic location fit for the future, you prefer to discuss how everything should be different and then maybe not. It is completely unclear what your ideas and plans are.
You promised to reduce the electricity tax for all. You broke this promise, and that rightly annoys not only the craftsmen. You promised to finance additional investments. You broke this promise, and that's why a large part of the middle class is angry.
I link a tour into Germany's economic model itself, saying the export-heavy, low-wage foundation had collapsed. They accused Reiche of protecting the wealthy elite while leaving workers exposed and industry stranded.
The German economy has been in crisis for years. The German economic model does not work anymore. It was based on high exports, unfair free trade, at the expense of other states, on wage dumping, and on cheap energy.
But what do we read from the federal government? Reiche against higher inheritance tax. In this case, it is meant by the minister who acts as a patron of the rich in this country.
Die Linke also accused the government of wasting time on half measures. They said the failure to cut grid fees or deliver an industrial energy price left Germany's industries without relief.
Much too much time, Ms. Minister, was lost in the upcoming federal budget for the lowering of the grid fees. The one-off budget of $6.5 billion for the coming year is not a solution, but a waste of time. Fundamental solutions must come to reduce the costs of expansion.
Energy became the fiercest battleground. AfD MPs called the transition a hammer blow to exports, while Die Linke accused the government of clinging to gas dependence instead of embracing renewables.
Due to the scarce certificates, the goods become more expensive. Only the goods from Germany and the EU become more expensive. The whole thing is a huge hammer against the export-oriented German industry.
The cheap gas from Russia. As a result, energy costs have increased enormously. Germany has made itself dependent on fossil fuels for far too long, instead of expanding the renewable and guiding the transformation of the industry. But Minister Reiche wants to strengthen the dependence on gas. This is not technology open, as you call it. No, this is a nailed adherence to outdated technology.
At the heart of the storm were charges of failed leadership. AfD accused Merz's coalition of being chained together only to hold power, while Die Linke said the government was driving Germany deeper into crisis.
This government is done before it has started anything meaningful at all. It is also clear that you have completely different ideas about what needs to be done. You are chained together for the sake of power, and that is the problem. It is not about the right policy at all, but only about maintaining power.
We really need an economic turnaround, but what Merz and Reiche want is not a turnaround at all. It is the continuation of the course that has driven us to shit.
The Bundestag clash laid bare the scale of Germany's economic turmoil. Mass layoffs, surging energy costs, broken promises, and a government accused of paralysis. For the opposition, Friedrich Merz's coalition is not steering Germany toward recovery, but accelerating its decline, leaving the question hanging: can Berlin still prevent Europe's industrial powerhouse from sliding into economic doom?